Just to start, few definition and the definition about the fact that the totality of the exposure of an individual is subject from conception to death at different things in the environment. And in my in this session, I will speak about a special time, the breastfeeding time. But what it's important is that the breastfeeding time is start with the conception, pregnancy, and the early infancy, so it could be a continuum. This characteristic of the epoism are important because they could we could use it as a biomarker of exposure. We could study them for the risk assessment, but also as clinical outcome. Epigenetic is the study of hereditary change in the function of gene without altering of the DNA sequence. And there is three mechanisms in that type of change: DNA methylation, non-coding RNA, and modification of the histone. And it's the second one that is, I think, more important in lactation. So you can see the interaction with exposome, and the epigenetic marks regulate gene expression of that slide. Epigenetic marks are first described in placental abnormality, early environment, give some explanation for reduced fetal growth, and special exposition of few populations, for instance, during a war with starving. But now we know that epigenetic can explain some form of cancer, obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and trouble of reproduction. For instance, big man have sometimes difficulties to have baby, and when they lost weight, they could return to normal fertility. Development origin of adult health and disease is a special association who work about this. So actually, we know that predictive adaptive answer could explain why environment of prenatal for the baby have an input of epigenetic organogenesis, but also the neonatal phenotype could be modified by epigenetic things. And the adult phenotype and the risk of development of pathology also. So the critical period and the critical condition to epigenetic modification is the implantation, organogenesis, differentiation of gonadic, placental function and birth, and breastfeeding is more recently a study, and it had also an impact on the 1,000 days more important in the life for the baby and the future adult. Here, 3 examples of environment who have changing epigenetic marks, and after we'll focus on breastfeeding. For instance, food could have an impact of our health. Broccoli spoons decrease an enzyme that inhibits transcription, and that could have protective effect on cancer. Another example about physical activity, who could have an impact of our health, and also psychosocial consideration important because they could modify the behavior of the future adult. And here, epigenetic modulation of stress gene expression that can affect germ cells, and probably stress could affect, we know, breastfeeding, and milk production have its origin maybe in epigenetic action. So, impact of maternal nutrition during gestation and lactation on the longevity of male mice. It's studied on animals, but here we know that with different dietary factors, the longevity of male mice could be modified. For instance, cafeteria dietary is not good for the life, for the longevity of male mice. And the key period for this study are pregnancy and lactation date. If we modify lactation date of the mouse, we could modify also the lifespan of the mice. So what is important is that epigenetic gene regulation during mammalian development could be have a stability and flexibility, and it could be modified by it's what we call plasticity. There is more than 200 types of cells with the same DNA who could be modified by epigenetic marks. And probably in the mammary gland there is epigenetic marks that could influence. Here we could see an example of a remodelage of a mammary gland and with epigenetic landscape of mammary gland development and functional differentiation. There is a different, it's in French, I think, yes. I think that, yes, it's in French, oh, sorry. Usually it's different. French people have English slide and I have. So here on that slide we can see that there is a different level of microRNA in the mammary gland, and this is implicated in the expression of different protein and milk products. And when DNA is hypomethylate or hypermethylate, this improves some milk production or not. And regulation of milk volume and during and breastfeeding duration have also an epigenetic origin. Here you can see that hypomethyl gene and casein is in the active mammary gland. And if casein is hypomethylate in the active breast gland, it's the case during mastitis. For instance, during mastitis, there is hypomethylation of few protein, and this decrease milk production, and the milk production could rise more difficultly as there is a long time of mastitis, for instance, or starving. After 8 days of weaning, DNA methylation compaction of 1% per day up to 30%. So what is important is that there is a high inter-individual variability, and the phenomenon still reversible in 92%, but only in 48 and less than 20% in case of depending the largest period of starving. So if, for instance, a mother stops breast sponsor milk or stop to breastfeed her baby, they could have hypomethylation, and it could be more difficult if the time is longer. And we have biologic explanation for that case. In that study, they study the breastfeeding effect of DNA methylation in offspring. It's a systematic literature study. So what they notify is that breastfeeding could be associated with negative early gene promoter methylation, other genes like SERA and CDKN2 is involved in tumor suppression or involved in anorexic hormone leptin, and that could explain why, for instance, breastfeeding protect against obesity, for instance. And this influence also global methylation and epigenetic effect of few genetic variants. So in that slide, as we speak about that this morning, increased impression, the expression, of LEP punk of a gene is one of the explanation about how breastfeed protect against obesity. And for the last gene, it protects against cancer. So it's a real implication in a global health population. In that study, they detect a long non-coding RNA in human milk in extracellular vesicule, which are implicated in early child development. What's interesting is that there are specific RNA in human milk that have never been found in other fluids. And the author say that it's a critical role, post-transcriptional regulation of gene, and this could be have a function in for children in immunity, in brain development, and in metabolism of the fat, but also in the own mammary gland function, with cell cycle, proliferation, differentiation, apoptosis, and immune response. And this probably explains also why breastfeeding protects the mother against breast cancer. There is different fraction of microRNA, and human milk is very rich with this microRNA, and they are specific from breastfeed. And you can see here that woman's milk is, in fact, the biological liquid richest in MER. It's on the top on the 12 more rich fluid. And the second one is amniotic fluid. So the two environments of the fetus and the baby, amniotic fluid, then the breast milk of a mother, are the more rich. There is an inter-individual variation by gender, by term of birth, by diet, and intra-individual also change. Stage of lactation, infection disease, modify microRNA in the milk. MicroRNA are stable under extreme conditions and resistant to digestion, freezing, thawing, destroyed by pasteurization. So it's really important. And this is probably a very old mechanism of adaptation of the baby, and it's a continuum for 250 million years, continuing between maternal control of embryo until withdrawal via breastfeeding. In fact, breastfeeding is a continuation of ingestion of amniotic fluid from the fetus, except by inadequate lifestyle. It could be modified. So here it's an example of how the milk could have an action through breastfeed, and the differences between breastfeeding and artificial milk. In breastfeed, there is a lot of microRNA. There is no microRNA in bottled milk. The microRNA comes in the intestinal and go through the intestinal wall and go in the circulation and have systematic impact. You can see here they modify immune system development, viral defenses, immune response control. They have an action on differentiation and maintenance of tissue identity, and they control growth and apoptosis. A lot of mechanisms that influence inflammation response and it's quite difficult to read, but it's some example of microRNA in human milk, their regulator function, and their presence in human milk and the references. And these microRNA are found in the lipid fraction of human milk. It's what's important because they are vehicle with the same file with the vehicle. Much less microRNA in formula and a completely different human milk profile. So there is an effect of child growth, development, and immune protection. Expression of microRNA vary at 4 months of life, and here you can see the difference between a 2, 4, and 6 months breastfeed baby with a variation, and this also is it's difference between artificial formula. Baby have every day the same of each life, and here there is variation. For instance, at 4th month, baby had first vaccination. It maybe need no more microRNA than in the first month of life after the colostral phase and the more immature milk. And the authors say that the modification of microRNA expression corresponding to remodeling of the gland and adapts of the child needs, in fact. So microRNA related to child's maternal weight and sex, and it could have quite differences. For instance, there is more concentration of microRNA in colostrum than in mature milk. Then there is more microRNA in mothers with less weight. Mother with obesity have less microRNA. And there is quite differences between girls and boys. And we know that predictive development of preterm baby is different from between the boys and the girls. And it's better for the girl than the boy. So perhaps this participates, in fact, also to explain why we have some differences in the different studies about the development of boys and girls. Probably epigenetic have also an impact on the neurologic future of the baby. And in that study, we know that they found an association between breastfeeding and intelligent educational attainment, and in the outcome of 30 years age people. And the differences in development sometimes it's quite difficult to point, probably because there is the differences between different people. Here we can see that genetically determined maternal intake of long-chain polyunsaturated fatty acid during pregnancy and lactation is crucial for child cognition, and the effect of breastfeeding on condition depend on the child polymorphism. For instance, you can see on the first graph, there is not breastfeeding gives a loss of 8 to 9 points for children with specific AA profile allele, and the difference is also for another gene. So perhaps were not equal from the benefit of human milk. And we could see after in oligosaccharide presentation, some mothers have less oligosaccharide in their milk because of their blood group, for instance. So to finish, epigenetic effect on breast milk on child health, it's really, really, really important, and perhaps more important for preterm baby, for instance, to prevent inflammation disease, necrotitis, and enterocolitis. And we know now few gene expression who is modified by epigenetic products who comes from the milk. So preventive role in at-risk population could be interesting. For instance, if we know that a woman have a BRCA1 mutation, we could explain the mechanistic of cancer breast by that fact, for instance, and we could have a special action to prevent. Same thing for digestive pathologic or gastroenterolitis. We start to explain with special mechanistic the role of breastfeeding in prevent this type of pathology. And it could be interesting also for diabetes or obesity or other thing. Epigenetic could explain also a part of atopy prevention. And we found reduced atopy and eczema at 5 years in children, and women have more microRNA 155 in their milk. Atopic mother transmit more often atopia than the father if they have also a specific profile of epigenetic. And it's the same for the prevention of obesity. The mechanistic of prevention of obesity of breast milk is complex, and one of the mechanics is the fact that breast milk could influence expression of few genes as leptin. He make a changement on its promoter and expression. And the role of breastfeeding duration is important. More the mothers breastfeed a baby, more the prevention of obesity is efficient. Last thing is about the role of the microbiome in epigenetic modification. Breastfeeding has a beneficial effect against obesity, and the microbiome expression and equilibrium is also one of the mechanistic of prevention of obesity. There is a transgenerational cycle of the obesity, and we could probably impact this circle with breastfeeding, and probably modify the risk of the baby to be obese by breastfeeding and prolongate the breastfeed of the baby. Last slide, it's about nanoparticle. We have saw that epigenetic could be modified by nutrition, could be modified by infection, for instance, mastitis, and could be modified also by environment. And actually, there is a debate about the toxic potential of nanoparticles. Nanoparticles have been found in powder products, like for instance artificial milk, and they are present in nature. They are present in how do you call it, e-cigarette, and we have to prevent it in human milk, but human milk is less contaminated than other products of nanoparticles. So in fact, this nanoparticle could have cytotoxicity, participate at cellular death, increase oxidation stress, immunotoxicity, and probably have change, modify epigenetic role. So probably future legislates could be focused about this type of contamination. Tobacco could be an actor in epigenetic modification of breastfeeding. Women who continue to use tobacco during breastfeeding, they have few studies about that. They found a decreased content on DHA in milk of women who use tobacco, reduced synthesis of LC-PUFA from GM cell, and in final, neonatal exposure only during lactation could provocate metabolic disorder from childhood, worsening during obesity development, hyperleptinemia, hyperglycemia, and other trouble. And there is a total number of deletions per case positively associated with tobacco exposure. Parents, tobacco during pregnancy also have to be prevented because it has probably other impact that only on subit death for the baby, but modification epigenetic of few things. Here we can see that the serum leptin and perivisceral grace also is modified. Pollutants in the environment and the feeding are quite frequent, and there is endocrine disruptor, pesticide, phytoestrogen. This has been responsible of some form of pathology like autism, hyperactivity, obesity, reproduction. So we must also give to the mother few recommendations to try to reduce the exposition of the mother, but usually it's not non-protective practice, but it needs to be a planet and global action. So in conclusion, epigenetic and breastfeeding, it's more than nearly 2,000 responses when you click on Google and epigenetic. DNA methylation, microRNA, the richest biological liquid in microRNA is breast milk. There is a high variability from mother to mother and intra-individual variability also. Modified methylation by, for instance, supplementation in omega-3 can be influenced, material diet, tobacco, stress, endocrine disruptor, could modify epigenetic role of breastfeeding. And there is probably necessity of prospective study to understand the role of epigenetic in association between breastfeeding and future child health. And it's the aim of DOHED, because also it could be marker or targets for new treatment or new marker for future disease. Okay. And just a slide about milk donation. It's a recent publication that I made about a woman who doesn't want to give her milk because of the risk of microRNA in the milk. We are sure that microRNA are not destroyed by freezing, but there is few studies that they say that destroy them. So probably not all, but a certain percentage. So it could, in fact, indicate that it's not an argument against indicating the development of milk bank in Muslim countries. Okay. First, the second one.
Thank you, Dr. Virginie.